3. When talking about Mahalapai, Obed paints a picture of Mahalapai was a struggling village of huts made of brown, sun-baked mud bricks and a few tin-roofed buildings. These belonged to the government or the railways, and they seemed to us to represent distant, unattainable luxury. There was a school run by an old Anglican priest and a white woman whose face had been half destroyed by the sun. They both spoke Setswana, which was unusual, but they taught us in English, insisting on the pain of a thrashing that we left our own language outside in the playground. Three. When talking about Mahalapai, Obed paints a picture of a group of houses reflecting a social divide. B. A village which was arranged neatly around a railway line. C. Children receiving an education which was inadequate. D. Local children who were encouraged to pursue their own culture. D. Local children who were encouraged to pursue their own culture. The right answer is A. A group of houses reflecting a social divide. Mahalapai was a struggling village of huts, made of brown, sun-baked mud bricks and a few tin-roofed buildings. These belonged to the government or the railways, and they seemed to us to represent distant, unattainable luxury. Four. What point is Obed making in paragraph F? I am 60 now, and I do not think God wants me to live much longer. Perhaps there will be a few years more, but I doubt it. I saw Dr. Moffat at the Dutch Reformed Hospital in Mochuti, who listened to my chest. He could tell that I had been a miner, just by listening, and he shook his head and said that the mine have many different ways of hurting a man. As he spoke, I remember the song the Soto miners used to sing. They sang, "The mines eat men. Even when you have left them, the mines may still be eating you." We all knew this was true. You could be killed by falling rock, or you could be killed years later when underground was just a memory, or even a bad dream that visited you at night. The mines would come back for their payment, just as they were coming back for me now. So I was not surprised by what Dr. Moffat said. Some people cannot bear news like that. They think they must live forever, and they cry and wail when they realize that their time is coming. I do not feel like that, and I do not weep at the news the doctor gave me. The only thing that makes me sad is that I shall be leaving Africa when I die. I love Africa, which is my mother and my father. When I am dead, I shall miss the smell of Africa, because they say that where you go, wherever that may be, there is no smell or taste. For what point is Obed making in paragraph F? A. The doctor was reluctant to tell him any bad news. B. He refuses to despair when hearing bad news. C. People react to bad news in very similar ways. D. Bad news is never as bad as it seems. The correct answer is B. He refuses to despair when hearing bad news. So, I was not surprised by what Dr. Moffat said. Some people cannot bear news like that. They think they must live forever, and they cry and wail when they realize that their time is coming. I do not feel like that, and I do not weep at the news the doctor gave me.